The market was loud and full of strange sounds, creatures, and colors. Alien merchants shouted their prices in high-pitched voices, while shoppers moved quickly from stall to stall. Trying to find what they needed, the smells of exotic food and strange spices filled the air, and the ground shook slightly as heavy creatures walked past. In the middle of the market, a small alien girl sat alone on a cold metal platform. Her skin was pale and her eyes large, shining with fear and sadness. She was small, weaker than most of the other creatures, and her thin arms trembled as she looked around, hoping someone would notice her, but no one did. Merchants passed her by without a second glance. Some whispered to each other with disgust. Another one left behind. They said, "No one will buy her." The girl pulled her thin cloak tighter around her shoulders, trying to hide herself, but she could not hide from the eyes of the market. Some of the other aliens stared, laughing at her. They pointed at her ears, at her strange fingers, at the small marks on her skin, and the girl looked down, feeling ashamed. Her heart pounded with fear, and she wished she could vanish. A tall, sharp-eyed alien approached the platform, leaning over the girl. "This one is too weak," he said. "She will not last a day in the hands of a buyer." Other merchants nodded, agreeing, and a few whispered about lowering her price even more. The girl felt a cold wave of hopelessness wash over her. From the corner of the market, a human stepped in. He looked strange among the alien crowd. Taller than most, with smooth skin and eyes full of curiosity, he did not rush like the others, but moved slowly, watching the stalls. And then his gaze fell on the small girl. The girl noticed him, and her heart jumped. She expected fear, danger, maybe even pain. Humans were rare here, and no one could trust them, but this one moved differently, with calm and confidence, almost like he belonged somewhere else. The human walked closer, ignoring the whispers and stares from the merchants. He stopped near the girl's platform, and the market seemed to grow silent for a moment. The tall alien who had judged her frowned, confused by the human's presence. "I want her," the human said clearly, his voice low but strong. The other merchants gasped. Some laughed, thinking he was joking. Some shook their heads, refusing to believe a human would pay for the weakest alien in the market. The girl froze, not sure if she should hope or hide. The head merchant stepped forward, his claws clicking on the metal floor. "Do you understand what you are asking?" he demanded. "She is almost worthless, weak, and sickly." The human nodded. "I understand," he said. "I will take her." A murmur ran through the crowd. Some whispered about the human being foolish, while others wondered why he chose the girl. The girl could not believe it. Her fear and sadness mixed with a small, quiet hope. She had not felt this feeling in a long time. The head merchant looked at her, then back at the human. "Very well," he said slowly. "If you insist, you may take her." He waved his claw, and the other merchants stepped back, watching closely. The girl's legs trembled as the human reached out his hand. She hesitated, unsure if she could trust him, but something in his eyes told her he was different, not like the others. Slowly, she placed her small hand in his, feeling a strange warmth and safety. The crowd watched silently, waiting for a mistake. The human lifted her gently from the platform, and the market erupted in whispers and shouts. Other buyers looked shocked, some angry, but no one dared to stop him. He moved carefully through the crowded aisles, holding her hand tightly, protecting her from the jostling creatures. The girl looked up at him, and for the first time, she felt that maybe she was not alone. Maybe someone cared for her. Maybe there was hope beyond the fear and cruelty of the market. Her heart beat faster, and she held on, trusting him even though she barely knew him. As they reached the exit of the market, the sun of the alien city shone bright, reflecting off the shiny metal buildings and strange towers. The girl took a deep breath, feeling the wind on her face. The human glanced down at her, offering a small, reassuring smile, And in that moment, she knew her life was about to change. She did not know what awaited outside the market, but for the first time she felt a spark of hope. The alien market behind them was loud, cruel, and unforgiving. But ahead, something new was beginning. The crowd in the alien market was still murmuring as the human led the small girl through the narrow aisles. Merchants glared, whispering about his foolish choice. Some muttered that he would regret taking her, that she was too weak to survive. Anywhere, the girl clutched his hand tightly, afraid the whispers were true. She had never felt a human's touch before, and it was strange, warm, and comforting. Her heart still pounded with fear, but a small flicker of hope grew inside her. The human moved carefully, stepping around large creatures and uneven metal floors. Keeping her safe, "Don't be afraid," he said softly, his voice calm and strong. "I will not let anyone hurt you." The girl's eyes widened, unsure if he spoke the truth. Her life, until now, had been full of lies, cruelty, and fear. Could she trust him, or was this another trick? The market seemed endless, full of alien voices and strange smells. Yet the human navigated as if he knew where he was going. He stopped at a stall full of strange, glowing devices. And the girl's curiosity rose despite her fear. The colors were dazzling, and some of the smaller creatures stared in amazement. "Are these for sale?" she asked timidly, pointing at a small, floating orb. The human smiled. "Yes. But not for now," he said, keeping his eyes on the crowd. "We have to move." The girl nodded, realizing that their safety was more important than curiosity. Suddenly, a loud voice shouted behind them, "Stop! That one belongs to us." The tall merchant from earlier had called for guards. Their claws clicked on the metal floor as they rushed toward them. The girl's heart skipped a beat, and she pulled the human closer. He did not panic, but lifted her slightly. Helping her jump over a low barrier, they ran together. Weaving through the crowded market, other shoppers scattered, some shouting warnings, some staring in fear. The human strength surprised her, and she felt safer than she had in her life. As they turned a corner, the girl saw a group of small, quick aliens blocking their path. Their faces were harsh, eyes filled with greed. They reached for her. But the human raised a glowing device. A small flare of light flashed, and the creatures recoiled. "Stay close," he shouted, pulling her into a narrow alley. The walls were tall and covered in strange markings, casting dark shadows. The girl's fear returned. But she felt the human's hand holding hers tightly. His calmness steadied her trembling heart. They ran until they reached a quieter part of the city. The noises of the market faded, replaced by the soft hum of alien machines and distant voices. The girl looked at the human, trying to understand who he was. He did not speak much about himself, only asking if she was okay. "I am scared," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I don't know if I can trust anyone." The human nodded. "That is natural," he said, "but I will not hurt you, and I will protect you, no matter what." The girl felt a strange warmth spread through her chest, hope growing slowly, just as she started to feel safer. A shadow moved across the alley, quick and silent. Her stomach twisted with fear. "Someone is following us," she said, clinging to him. The human glanced back, his eyes narrowing. "We are not alone," he said calmly, "but we can handle this." A pair of glowing eyes appeared in the darkness, then another. Small creatures, quick and vicious, blocked the exit of the alley. The girl froze, terrified, and hid behind the human, who held the device tightly, ready to defend her. The creatures hissed and moved closer, their claws scraping the metal floor. The girl could see their sharp teeth and strange markings. She wanted to run, but the human whispered, "Do not move, trust me." His calm voice gave her courage, even in the face of danger. With a sudden flash, the human activated the device. A bright light filled the alley, and the creatures hissed. Covering their eyes, they backed away, giving him just enough space to pull the girl through a hidden door at the end of the alley. Inside, the air was cooler. Filled with soft hums and gentle lights, the girl looked around. Amazed, this place was safe, hidden, and unlike anything she had ever seen. She finally felt a spark of relief, and for the first time, she whispered, "Thank you." The human nodded, but his eyes were serious. "We are not safe yet," he said. "Others will come for you, and we must be ready." The girl's hope mixed with fear. Realizing that her journey had just begun, but for the first time, she felt that someone cared for her. And she was not alone. Outside the hidden room, shadows moved and distant voices shouted, but the girl held the human's hand tightly. Ready to face whatever came next, her heart still raced, but a small spark of courage burned inside her. She knew this was only the start of her new life. The hidden room was quiet, filled with soft, humming lights. The small alien girl pressed her back against the wall, her heart still racing. She had never been somewhere so strange and safe at the same time. Outside, she could hear distant shouts and the faint sounds of chaos. The human crouched beside her, scanning the doorway with sharp eyes. "We cannot stay here for long," he said, his voice calm but serious. "They will find us if we linger." The girl nodded, trembling, but ready to follow him. She trusted him, even though she barely knew him. He opened a hidden panel in the wall, revealing a narrow passage leading downwards. The air smelled of metal and oil, and faint lights lined the floor. Guiding their path, the girl swallowed her fear, stepping carefully after him. Her small hand clutched his tightly, not wanting to be left behind. The passage twisted and turned, leading them under the city streets. Strange noises echoed around them. Dripping water, distant machinery, and occasional alien growls. Each sound made her flinch. But the human never slowed down. He moved with purpose, as if he had done this before. Suddenly, the passage opened into a wide tunnel, dimly lit by flickering lights. The girl's eyes widened, seeing the size of the city underground. Shadowy figures moved quickly in the distance. Their faces were hidden, but their intentions were clear. Danger lurked. "Stay close," the human whispered, and she nodded, running beside him. The figures noticed them and started to chase. Their movements were fast and precise, making the girl's heart pound. She tried to keep up, stumbling over uneven metal floors, but the human supported her. Pulling her forward, they reached a narrow bridge above a deep shaft, glowing with strange lights below. The girl froze, fear gripping her. "We have to cross," the human said. "Don't look down, just move." She took a deep breath, closing her eyes, and followed his steps carefully. Each footfall echoed loudly, making her heart race. Behind them, the shadowy figures gained ground. Hissing and growling, the girl's fear turned to panic, and she almost fell, but the human caught her. Holding her close, "We are almost through," he said. "Keep moving," the girl nodded, her small legs trembling, but she pushed forward. Halfway across the bridge, one of the pursuers leaped, trying to grab the girl. The human swung the device he carried. A bright flash of light struck the attacker, making him reel back with a loud shriek. The girl gasped, amazed and terrified. She had never seen such power before. They ran off the bridge, landing in a narrow alley, and the shadowy figures hesitated. At the edge, their hissed words echoed, promising they would return. The girl looked up at the human. Fear and gratitude mixed in her eyes. "How did you do that?" she asked, her voice shaking. The human did not answer immediately, only holding her hand tightly. "We have to keep moving," he said, leading her through twisting alleys. Avoiding open streets where more creatures could spot them, the girl began to understand that her life had changed forever, and every step mattered. They reached a hidden courtyard. overgrown with strange plants glowing faintly in the dark. The girl paused, amazed by the quiet beauty. For a moment, she forgot the danger, feeling the soft glow on her skin. The human smiled at her. But his eyes stayed sharp, watching every shadow. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from a nearby building, dust and debris falling around them. The girl jumped, fear flooding her. "They are close," the human said, pulling her behind a large metal container. They crouched together, silent and tense, waiting for the threat to pass. Minutes passed, but every sound made her heart race. Finally, the noises faded, and the human stood, helping her to her feet. "We are safe for now," he said, but his voice carried a warning. "We must leave the city soon." The girl nodded, ready to follow him, feeling a strange mix of fear and hope. As they disappeared into the shadows of the alien city, the girl realized something important. She was not alone anymore, and someone cared for her. The human had risked himself to save her, and she had begun to trust him for the first time. She believed that escape and a new life were possible, but in the darkness behind them, glowing eyes watched, silent and patient. Their hunt had not ended, and the danger was far from over. The girl clutched the human's hand, knowing they had only just begun their journey. The city stretched ahead, filled with unknown paths, unknown threats, and the faint promise of freedom. The human led the small alien girl through a hidden passage at the edge of the city. The air grew cooler and quieter, a soft hum echoing from strange machines embedded in the walls. The girl's eyes widened as she saw glowing panels and moving lights. She had never been anywhere like this, and it both scared and fascinated her. "This is safe," the human said, glancing around carefully. "For now, no one can find us here." The girl nodded, but her heart still raced. Every shadow seemed alive, and every sound made her jump. She stayed close, holding his hand tightly. Trusting him completely, the shelter was larger than she expected, filled with strange devices that floated in the air and soft glowing screens. Some looked like maps, others like tools she could not understand. The human walked confidently, showing her a small corner with soft cushions and food. "Eat," he said. "You need your strength." The girl hesitated, unsure if she could trust the food. But hunger overcame her fear, and she took a small bite. The warmth of the food made her feel safer, and for a moment she forgot the dangers outside. Her stomach calmed, and she looked at the human, wondering who he really was. "This place. It's amazing," she whispered, her voice small. "What is all this?" The human smiled faintly. "It is a safe place, filled with tools to protect and to learn." He said, "You will understand more soon." The girl nodded, curiosity fighting with her fear. Suddenly, a soft noise came from the far end of the shelter. A shadow moved across the wall, and the girl stiffened with fear. "Someone is here," she whispered, clinging to him. The human held her close. Scanning the dark corner, "It might be dangerous," he said calmly, "but we will handle it." From the shadows, a small alien creature appeared, its eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. It tilted its head, watching them carefully. The girl froze, unsure if it was friend or enemy. The human stepped forward slowly, showing no fear. "We mean no harm," he said gently. The creature stared at him for a long moment, then hissed softly. The girl's stomach twisted with anxiety. "Will it attack us?" she asked, her voice trembling. The human shook his head. "Not if we are careful," he said. "Sometimes fear can make enemies appear worse than they are." The girl listened, trying to calm herself, watching the small alien's movements. The creature finally backed away, disappearing into the shadows. The girl exhaled slowly, relief washing over her. "Why did you bring me here?" she asked quietly. "I wanted to be safe," she added. "I didn't want to run anymore." The human looked at her, his eyes softening. "You will be safe as long as you trust me," he said. Hours passed as the girl explored the shelter, marveling at the floating lights and strange gadgets. The human showed her a small bed and blankets. "Rest here for now," he said. "You will need energy for what comes next." The girl curled up, feeling the soft warmth, her fear slowly fading, but as she rested, she could not ignore a strange feeling. Something in the shelter felt unusual. There were hidden passages she had not seen, strange sounds behind closed doors, and faint whispers that seemed almost alive. The human noticed her hesitation. "Do not worry," he said. "This place is safe, but always stay alert." The girl nodded, trying to understand. Her trust in him was growing, but her instincts warned her not to relax completely. She realized that safety was temporary and danger could appear at any moment. The human seemed to know this, and his calmness reassured her, giving her courage. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and a soft rumble shook the shelter. Dust fell from the ceiling, and the girl's heart jumped. "What was that?" she asked, fear rising in her voice. The human moved quickly, checking the panels and devices. "Something is approaching," he said, his voice serious. "We need to be ready." The girl's stomach twisted with dread, but she felt the human's hand on hers, firm and protective. He led her to a corner with a small, glowing shield. "Stay here," he whispered. "I will keep you safe." The girl nodded, holding her breath as shadows moved closer outside. In the quiet moments, she realized she was learning to trust someone for the first time. She felt a small spark of courage growing inside her. Despite the fear, the shelter, strange and mysterious, became a place where hope and danger existed side by side. As the rumble outside grew louder, the girl gripped the human's hand. "Ready?" For whatever would come next. The glowing lights flickered. Shadows danced on the walls, and a new threat was approaching. But for the first time, she did not feel completely alone. The shelter was quiet now, but the rumble from outside had not completely faded. The small alien girl hugged her knees, staring at the strange, glowing panels around her. She had never been in a place like this, and every light and sound felt alive. She looked up at the human, her eyes full of questions. "Why are we here?" she asked quietly, her voice trembling. The human sat beside her, watching the shadows flicker on the walls. "This place is safe, for now," he said. "But you need to know more about why they want you." The girl's stomach twisted with fear. "Why me?" she whispered, barely daring to speak. The human nodded, understanding her question. "You are special," he said. "Not in a way everyone will understand, but some powerful forces want to capture you, to use your abilities for their gain." The girl stared at him, shocked. "Abilities?" she asked. I don't understand." "You will," he said calmly. "But first, you need to trust me." The girl bit her lip, unsure. Her life had been full of lies, cruelty, and fear. Could she trust this human who had saved her from the market, yet spoke in riddles? He showed her a glowing map on the wall, lines moving like tiny rivers of light. "This is the city," he explained, "and this is where your pursuers will search." The girl leaned closer, fascinated despite her fear. The human's eyes never left the map, watching every movement, every glowing dot. "They are dangerous," he continued. "Fierce mercenaries, fast and clever. They will not give up easily, and some are stronger than you can imagine." The girl's hands trembled, but a small spark of courage rose inside her. She realized that her only chance was to stay close to him. "Why are you helping me?" she asked softly, curiosity and suspicion mixing. The human looked at her, his eyes serious. "Because someone must," he said simply. "Because you deserve a chance, and no one else will give it to you." The girl felt a strange warmth spread through her chest, a feeling she had never known before. He then opened a small compartment in the wall, revealing strange tools and devices. "These will help us," he said. "They are not weapons, but they can protect and guide us." The girl stared, trying to understand. Some objects floated in the air, moving on their own. Glowing softly, it felt magical, yet practical. The human handed her a small glowing orb. "This is for you," he said. "It will alert me if danger comes close." She held it carefully, feeling the soft warmth, and for the first time, she felt powerful, even a little. Her fear had not disappeared, but hope was growing. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the shelter. Dust falling from the ceiling, the girl jumped, clutching the human's arm. "They are here," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Get ready." Shadows moved in the distance, larger than before, and their growls filled the air. The girl gripped the orb, feeling it hum softly in her hand. Her heart raced, but she did not let go. She looked at the human, seeing determination in his eyes. For the first time, she understood that he had been planning for this moment, protecting her from dangers she could not even imagine. A sudden flash of light filled the room, and a figure appeared in the shadows, tall, strong, and menacing. The girl's stomach dropped, fear and awe mixing. She hid slightly behind the human, trusting him completely. The human stepped forward, holding the orb, light reflecting in his eyes, ready to confront whatever came next. "You have come far," the figure said, voice echoing in the shelter. "But your journey ends here." The girl felt her hands tremble, but the human's grip on her arm steadied her. "Not today," he replied calmly. "We are not alone, and we will not fall." The shadows moved closer, the lights flickered, and the hum of the shelter grew louder. The girl realized that her life was now tied to this human. She had no choice but to trust him fully, to follow him through dangers and secrets yet to come. As the figure stepped into the glowing light, the human whispered to her, "Stay close and do exactly as I say." The girl nodded, holding the orb tightly, her heart pounding, the room filled with tension. And the next moments would decide their fate. The shadows had moved closer, filling the shelter with tension. The small alien girl pressed herself against the human, her heart pounding. She had never felt such fear. Yet somehow, the human's calm presence steadied her. His hand held hers tightly, a silent promise of protection. Outside, the hum of the city echoed faintly, and somewhere in the distance, she could hear footsteps. Fast and purposeful, the human glanced at her. "They are coming," he whispered, his eyes scanning every corner. "We must move quickly." The girl nodded, gripping the glowing orb, feeling its soft warmth. They moved through a hidden passage, twisting under the city streets. The tunnels were dark, but faint lights guided their path. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing softly as they passed. The girl glanced at them, curiosity mingling with fear, wondering what secrets these tunnels held. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed behind them, and the girl jumped. "They are close," the human said, pulling her forward. The footsteps grew louder, and shadows flickered on the walls. Moving faster than any normal creature could, she could feel the danger pressing against them, a weight she had never known. They reached a wide, underground chamber filled with glowing machinery and pipes. The girl's eyes widened, fascinated despite the danger. "This way," the human said, leading her to a narrow passage above the floor. Suspense grew as they moved, unsure if the pursuers would follow them here. A sudden flash of light lit the chamber, and several figures appeared at the entrance. Their eyes glowed red, and sharp claws scraped the metal floor. The girl froze, fear gripping her. But the human stepped forward, holding the glowing orb high. The light flared, and the creatures hissed, stepping back momentarily. "Run!" the human shouted, and they sprinted through the chamber. Weaving between pipes and machinery, sparks flew as some of the pursuers tried to grab them. Their claws scraped dangerously close, but the human's quick reflexes saved the girl from every strike. As they reached the other side of the chamber, the girl stumbled, her legs weak from fear and exhaustion. The human caught her immediately, lifting her slightly. "Stay close," he said, his voice firm. "We cannot afford to be separated." The girl nodded. Trusting him completely, her fear now mixed with determination, they reached a metal ladder. Leading to another hidden tunnel, the human helped her climb, steadying her as they ascended. From above, the distant noises of the pursuers echoed, hissing and growling, but they had gained a small advantage. Moving faster than expected, the girl could barely breathe, but she kept climbing, trusting him to lead the way. At the top of the ladder, they emerged into a narrow corridor lined with strange glowing panels. The human paused, listening carefully, and the girl could see the tension in his posture. "We are not safe yet," he said. "They are fast, and they will not stop." The girl's hands trembled, but she held the orb tightly, ready for anything. Suddenly, a figure appeared at the far end of the corridor, blocking their path. The girl's stomach twisted with fear, but the human stepped forward calmly. Raising the glowing orb, the figure hissed, its claws ready, and moved closer. Shadows danced along the walls. Making the scene even more tense, the human pressed a small button on the orb, and a bright flash filled the corridor, forcing the figure to recoil. The girl gasped. Amazed by the sudden display of power, she realized that the human was not ordinary, and her trust in him deepened. He had been preparing for this moment, anticipating the danger they now faced. They moved quickly past the figure, ducking into another hidden passage. The girl's legs burned, but she did not stop, knowing the human's calm determination kept her safe. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit grew louder, and the red eyes of their enemies glowed in the darkness. The girl clenched the orb, ready to follow him anywhere. At last, they reached a small hidden room, with soft glowing walls and a quiet hum of machinery. The human closed the door behind them, locking it securely. The girl leaned against him, trembling, but alive. Her fear was still strong, but hope was growing. The human looked at her eyes, serious. "This is only a temporary safe place," he said. "We must plan our next move carefully." The girl nodded, her heart racing, realizing that their journey was far from over. The pursuit had intensified, and the dangers were more real than ever. But for the first time, she felt that with him, she might survive. Her trust and hope were growing, ready to face whatever came next. The small room was quiet, but the tension was thick. The alien girl pressed herself against the wall, feeling the glowing orb in her hand. She had never felt so aware of every sound, every shadow. Her heartbeat echoed in her ears, mixing fear and anticipation. The human knelt beside her, checking the glowing panels. "We are being watched," he said softly, his eyes sharp. "They are close, but we have a chance if we act now." The girl's stomach twisted, but she felt a strange energy stirring inside her, a feeling she could not understand. Suddenly, a faint glow emerged from her skin. Soft and pulsing, the girl gasped, staring at her hands. What is happening?" she whispered, her voice trembling. The human looked at her, eyes widening slightly. "I think you have powers," he said, voice low but calm. "You are stronger than anyone knew." Before she could ask more, the walls shuddered as footsteps echoed closer. The pursuers had found them. Moving quickly and deliberately, the girl's heart raced, but a strange calmness filled her. Her glowing hands felt warm, powerful, and ready. "They are coming," the human said, his hand on hers, guiding her. "Use it." He pointed to the corridor, narrow and dark. "We have to escape through there." The girl nodded, fear and excitement mingling. She took a deep breath, feeling the energy in her body surge. as the first pursuer appeared at the doorway. She raised her hands, and a soft wave of light pulsed outward. Striking the creature, it stumbled back, growling and hissing, surprised by her sudden power. The girl's eyes widened, realizing she could protect herself. The human gave her an encouraging nod. "Keep going," he said. They ran together through the corridor, the girl's glowing energy lighting their path. Shadows of the pursuers moved behind them, trying to catch up. Sparks flew as her powers brushed against the walls. The human guiding her safely. Each step made her stronger. Each pulse of energy gave her confidence at a junction. The pursuers tried to block their way, but the girl's glow expanded, forming a barrier of light. The creatures hissed and recoiled, giving the human time to push her through a small hidden door. The girl stumbled, but he caught her, steadying her as they moved. Inside, the air was cooler. Filled with a faint humming, the girl's glow faded slightly. But she felt the warmth of her power still inside her. "You are learning quickly," the human said, his voice calm but impressed. "This is only the beginning." The girl nodded, still catching her breath. Amazed by what she could do, they emerged into a narrow alley above the city streets. Faint lights glowing from strange towers. The girl paused, looking down at the crowd. Feeling a mixture of fear and excitement, "We have to keep moving," the human said, and she followed. Trusting him completely, her powers would guide them, but she knew she could not rely on them alone. Suddenly, a loud screech echoed from a nearby rooftop, and a creature dropped down. Blocking their path, the girl's glow flared instinctively, sending the creature back with a pulse of light. She gasped, her eyes wide, feeling both fear and exhilaration. The human pulled her forward, guiding her through twisting streets as they ran. The girl realized something important. Her fear had not disappeared, but her courage was growing. She felt connected to the human, to her own strength, and to the strange energy inside her. Together, they could face the dangers that had once seemed impossible, but the city was not done testing them. Shadows moved in every corner. Glowing eyes followed their every step. The girl's heart raced, but she clenched the orb and let her powers shine, ready to fight, ready to escape, and ready to trust in the human beside her. The night stretched ahead, full of danger and mystery. Yet for the first time, the girl felt a spark of hope. Her hidden powers had awakened, and together, they could survive whatever came next. The shadows behind them whispered, promising the hunt was far from over. But the girl no longer felt powerless.